Funding for the Stories of Louisiana's Black Church is provided by.
When morning came to Louisiana, we were hopeful, not hibernating. We were stronger, ready for what's next. And together, as we build anew, Blue Cross stands ready to support you.
Hi, I'm Patrick, employee at ExxonMobil and pastor of Believers Assembly of Baton Rouge. I'm so glad ExxonMobil is sponsoring the Louisiana Black Church on LPB, and I hope you enjoy watching it.
And by CSRS, building stronger, smarter communities together.
Entergy is proud to support programming on LPB and greener practices that preserve Louisiana.
The goal of our environmental and sustainability initiatives really is to ensure that our kids and future generations can be left with a cleaner planet.
Additional support provided by the Fred B. and Ruth B. Ziegler Foundation and the Ziegler Art Museum located in Jennings City Hall. The museum focuses on emerging Louisiana artists and is an historical and cultural center for Southwest Louisiana. And the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting, with support from viewers like you.
We just ask everyone to be safe, and that is our primary message.
A COVID Mardi Gras message.
2020 was actually really good to me.
How an indie filmmaker never stopped working through COVID.
Because when nobody in West Feliciana Parish, black, was ready could vote.
Why black churches led the civil rights movement.
Hi everyone, I'm Kara St. Cyr.
And I'm Andre Moreau. Much more on those top stories in a moment on this week's edition of SWI. But first, continued blasts of cold air are expected to spread into South Louisiana on this weekend before Mardi Gras, and with it, snow and ice expected.
Governor John Bel Edwards Thursday declared a state of emergency for all of Louisiana in advance of this wintry weather. Shreveport and Monroe have had a taste all week with some snow and single-digit lows in the forecast. Even in New Orleans, there's a slight chance of some wintry mix.
The governor also this week signed an order keeping our modified Phase 2 restrictions in place for at least 3 more weeks. Coronavirus numbers are trending down at the moment.
Right now, Louisiana has more than 1,100 new cases today and 37 new deaths, bringing that total number of cases up to more than 400,000.
And that brings us to the governor's COVID briefing this week. Even though the typical Mardi Gras isn't happening, New Orleans still has many thousands of visitors in town. Because of the virus and the variants in place, there is concern of larger gatherings that could ignite a new spread.
Mindful of what Mardi Gras did to our state last year, and how widely and deeply the virus got seeded into our communities all across Louisiana, but principally in that greater New Orleans metropolitan area. I have decided to stay in the modified Phase 2 with the current restrictions in place for 21 more days.
After that, the governor himself was vaccinated. And this week saw the state's first 2 large-scale vaccination opportunities, Tuesday at the Pennington Research Center in Baton Rouge and Friday at the Baton Rouge Clinic, Friday's event for veterans living in this part of the state. And now more headlines making news across our state. On Monday at the VA Medical Center in New Orleans, America's oldest living World War II veteran, a native New Orleanian, received his COVID-19 vaccine. 2 days before, Lawrence Brooks turned 111 years old. The National World War II Museum had a socially distant birthday party, and Brooks got 10,000 cards. What's his secret to living so long?
There ain't no secret, just the best thing to do, serve God and be nice to people.
GOP Senator Bill Cassidy voted with Democrats Tuesday against ending Donald Trump's impeachment trial. Cassidy reversed his position because he said Trump's lawyers did a terrible job in arguing their case. He was one of 6 Republicans to side with Democrats on the question of whether a former president can be tried after leaving office. He's taking some heat, too, from his own party for changing his stance from a month ago. State police this week arrested 4 troopers, accusing them of using excessive force, deactivating their body cams, and making false statements about 2 arrests from 2019 and 2020 around Moreau. Federal authorities separately are investigating troopers from that same outfit in the 2019 case of Ronald Green. Construction is underway on a $32 million coastal protection and restoration project to bring back hundreds of acres battered by hurricanes near Holly Beach months ago. The CPRA says the area was already sinking. The project will involve sand dredging from the Gulf of Mexico. A reminder for taxpayers from the State Department of Revenue, it involves COVID-19 relief benefits for people filing their 2020 state income taxes. The heads up for taxpayers is that they'll have to know which federal-related benefits are taxable at the state level and which ones are not. At the state capitol Wednesday, the Natural Resources and Environment Committee hosted a joint meeting to gather information about the recent federal action to halt oil and gas leasing and exploration. Industry leaders say the impact on the state economy would be devastating. Legislators were present along with our leaders from Washington, like Congressman Garrett Graves. Senator Bill Cassidy has been outspoken about the Biden climate change plan and how what's planned is a big worry for the oil patch. The governor and Cassidy are talking what strategic approach they will use for a powwow, they hope, with the president and his climate initiatives.
If you want to decrease global greenhouse gas emissions, your oil and gas development should be in the United States, where we have better environmental standards by which to do so, and in which you can couple it to your green energy initiatives.
COVID spread from Mardi Gras in 2020 in New Orleans, and so did big money that poured into the area. It had an economic impact of more than $1 billion for the Big Easy. That's from a Wallet Hub survey. It gives you an idea of what isn't coming in this carnival season. Saying she'd rather be accused of doing too much than doing too little, New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell is bracing for how people will respond to her efforts to keep the city safe. Mardi Gras isn't canceled, per se, but it also doesn't look like any carnival we've ever seen. The ban on selling booze and street closings today through Fat Tuesday, the mayor hopes, will be enough to prevent another surge of COVID-19. Hotel occupancies are peaking at 40 to 45% the first part of the weekend, then dramatically dropping in the days that follow. Mark Romig is president of New Orleans Tourism and Marketing.
The city's economy so depends on the spending that comes with visitation, but we also know that we need to get through this rough patch of the virus and to do what's necessary to look to the other side and get the vaccinations in the arms and get people more comfortable. And the last thing anyone wants to do is to hurt someone else. And I think that's why our message, and we're not aggressive in with commercials and getting people to come to New Orleans, come to New Orleans. That's not our message at all. Our message is, look, people are going to get up and come if they want, but if they do come, we're asking them that they've got to be safe. And it will be a different Mardi Gras. We know that. But there are things that people can do in the meantime to support our local businesses as there are businesses throughout the Baton Rouge area. In New Orleans, we have a lot of retail that depend on, not only locals, but anyone else who comes to town to help shop and spend their dollars here. Hotels have the highest degree of health protocols, as do our restaurants and the attractions. And so we just ask everyone to be safe. And that is our primary message. We are all in lockstep with the state as well as the city about being safe if you happen to be in the city, because as a local, I want everyone to be safe, and anyone coming into the city, I want them to make sure that they are safe for us as well.
There are a few Mardi Gras twists that have people turning out, at least in their cars.
We have seen homes decorate themselves like floats. And so you can literally ride in all parts of the city, in all the neighborhoods, and you see these homes that have turned themselves into stationary floats. So instead of the float coming to you, you're going to the float. So that's a way to experience the spirit of Mardi Gras and to see the colors, particularly in the evening as they're lit. So that's one way. There's another event that's occurring on the 12th, 13th, and 14th that the Advocate family, NOLA.com specifically, is doing. where you can go online, and each night for about a couple of hours each night, they're bringing you all the best things about Mardi Gras and the culture of New Orleans and the music and the food. And so you can sit at home and enjoy Mardi Gras without having to go anywhere, because we're coming to you through that means. And that's on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night, the 12th, 13th, and 14th.
That's a virtual event. NewOrleans.com also has safe activities listed on their website. New Orleans City Park is offering Floats in the Oaks. It gives visitors a chance to see iconic Carnival floats from various crews all together in one place. And again, it's a drive-through. The pandemic has decimated the hospitality industry in particular, but the owner of the 5-star rated Greenhouse Inn in the Lower Garden District says with the float houses, New Orleanians are using their creativity, and it's exciting and inspiring.
And you drive around uptown New Orleans, Magazine Street, St. Charles Avenue. Some of the houses are elaborate. I mean, not just decorated. They look like house floats. The only way to describe it. And a lot of people have gone to Blaine Kern's Mardi Gras World and gotten flowers and starfish and everything to decorate their houses. And I drove down St. Charles Avenue last Sunday, and it was bumper to bumper cars like it is at Christmas time.
Near the houses.
To see the houses.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool. Yeah. So everybody I talk to that's a New Orleanian is not letting this pandemic kill the Mardi Gras spirit. I stayed here through Katrina and watched the doldrums that settled over the city. I've been through this pandemic and I've watched it, but it's like nothing can keep us down. We just keep bouncing back up. It's like, okay, whether it's a hurricane or a pandemic, we're still going to have our house floats and we're still going to have our king cake.
After being shut down for much of the past year, the film industry in the state is really making up for lost time. But we found one independent filmmaker, an absolute dynamo, who managed to keep working throughout the pandemic. Take a look.
That is lovely. Love it, love it. I'm super happy everywhere.
That's Jonah Monet on the set of Go Fishing, filming near Baton Rouge. It's one of 5 major projects that kept her and her company, Switchstand Productions, working, she says, 20 hours a day throughout 2020, throughout the emergence of COVID-19, throughout the time when most people in her industry were trying to figure out how to work safely amid a rapidly spreading and deadly worldwide pandemic.
I'm not a person that typically wants to dim my light, but I was very quiet about filming because I knew a lot of people were struggling, especially people who are union workers. And a lot of them are my friends, and they were just struggling. They're not getting any work. And we were just filming away. And we were very cautious and careful about cups and writing names and all these sorts of things. But it didn't slow us down. 2020 was actually really good to me. Really good to me.
Wow. And
yeah,
for the film industry, that's probably you, and I'm not sure who else would be saying that, really, huh?
I've only met a few. But as well, Andre, great days, great moments don't just happen, they're made. Great days don't just happen, they're made. And great years are the same. And at some point you have to say, okay, these are no longer reasons, they're excuses. I need to get up and do what I want to do and be who I want to be and just go do it.
That attitude has served her well. She left home in Jackson, Mississippi for L.A. when she was about 19, looking to act. And she did. And she modeled. And she put herself in the right place at the right time.
Before I became a writer-director, I was brought on by Wes Cavens, the horror guy, as a producer to produce for him. And so I got very fortunate. And I slightly fell into directing out of necessity because I kept landing on sets that didn't have a strong director, and I had gone to school with all these actors and had already worked with them, and they trusted me. So I started pre-directing them before the scenes would actually be filmed, and that's actually how I kind of fell into directing.
Should you guys be quiet? You're gonna scare the fish away!
It seems every experience she's ever had has helped shape where she is now. She plans and molds what she does, so what she does is hers.
I am a statistical outlier.
you got the theme. It seems like you got the team and the actors. It's almost like a circus kind of.
I have a very, very solid crew and set of cast members that I trust extensively. And I think that was key for me because I know it's all very well. I know what our habits are. I know we're all extremely, I'm not going to say highly neurotic, but we are highly aware of sanitation and being civilized, and we just have really high conscientiousness. So for me, COVID wasn't a huge change because I do everything just like I did before because I was already basically living like that. So I take the same cast with me. I'm kind of like an Adam Sandler kind of thing. You're going to see the same faces in all my films. And I love it, but it's people that I can trust. And for me, that's key. Life in general is not a lone wolf game. It's a team pack game. And the film industry is just a condensed version of that.
And Louisiana, which she loves, is the beneficiary.
I am not going to lie. I've been all over the world and I have fallen in love with the people, the food, the art, the music, and the culture of Louisiana. I really have. Louisiana has been good to me, good to me.
The film industry statewide had to adjust and keep adjusting.
And how did we weather all those many months when it seemed like everybody was doing nothing but retreating? And I think they really were retreating.
Right now, we're back to our pre-COVID numbers. And so it's remarkable. Most of the stuff that was here at the time, whether it was NCIS, Your Honor, Blood Relative came back, which is a TV pilot that's being shot, Paramount shooting it for Fox. And so we're starting to see all of those projects coming back. And as they finish, we're seeing a tremendous amount of projects lining up.
And we owe a lot to Monet, a Mississippi girl with her own joie de vivre, who understands us enough to call us home.
There's just so much to see, and the dichotomy really of parts of Louisiana are rough. It's rough. You go out in the swamp and it will eat you, but yet you can go to a house 2 blocks down the road and you will find the most kind, caring, generous people on the planet, and they will feed you and smile at you and make sure you have a good time and send you on your way. And you really just don't find that anywhere other than right here in this area.
The pulpit is a pillar in most Black communities for several reasons, but one of the biggest is its ability to act as a communication hub for the people. In the civil rights era, that was crucial. Tonight, as we continue our Louisiana Black Churches special, we explore how the church was a big part of that movement.
They want to throw white children and colored children into the melting pot of integration.
For Black residents in rural St. Francisville, cross burnings were normal in the 60s. It was a polarizing time full of anger and fear. This church, the Pleasant Green Baptist Church, is Vincent Smith's mirror into that past. Like this building, Vincent was once a victim of white supremacy, but you wouldn't know it by looking at either of them.
So, does this bring back memories standing right here?
Oh yeah, well, it wasn't none of this here, but I can remember this was a little white wooden church.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome.
The decision to fight for the rights of Black people during the civil rights movement cost Vincent. For nights, he endured burning crosses on his front lawn and gunshots into his home. And in 1963, his church was bombed.
So it was a very difficult life. You kind of knew that these white people were mean and vicious. The police would club you if you was caught being out of line. You tried to have the least amount of contact with whites as you possibly could.
In West Feliciana Parish, where Vincent lives, people of color didn't have any power. A lot of them were sharecroppers and couldn't own land. And under the Jim Crow laws of the South, they had limited rights as citizens.
There was nobody in West Feliciana Parish, Black, or reddish, could vote.
But where could they go to get out of the situation? They could try organizing meetings at a house, but that might get them or a family member shot, or their house burned down. Not to mention this.
A lot of Mongol class of people. All races will be destroyed in such a movement.
What was the alternative?
A church in the old days was the pillar of communication. You go to the church, we didn't have television. So if something happened in the community, when somebody hear about it, they go to the church and ring the bell.
At any given time during the week, you were apt to find more black people at the church than at any other spot in West Feliciana Parish. That was true of black churches across the state, including Mount Zion First Baptist Church in Baton Rouge.
That's where you hold your meetings. That's where school is taught. And that preacher is usually out front of everything that's going on because the community is depending on him to tell them what's going on.
Mount Zion's pastor, T.J. Jemison, like many black pastors in Louisiana, was one of the most educated and well-connected to people in the black community. So in 1953, when he organized a widespread bus boycott, the black community followed his lead.
And this effort in Baton Rouge became the templates for the Montgomery one because they set up several things. They didn't achieve as much as they should have or could have in Baton Rouge because basically they was just trying to get better seating. The same thing with Dr. King in Montgomery.
Bus boycotts and other acts of nonviolent protest spread across not just the South, but all over Louisiana. In 1962, in West Feliciana Parish, Vincent's father opened the door to two lawyers.
They were there to get us to register to vote. They say the civil rights had been passed. Geronimo told my dad, get 6 or 7 men, preachers, deacons that you can trust, that can keep their mouth closed.
These men Vincent's dad recruited were mainly men of the church, so naturally the meeting place would end up being a sanctuary.
It took from March of 1962 until July, I believe, of 1963 to really get enough people to have a meeting. It started at Pleasant Green Baptist Church because the pastor of that church and the deacons were the only ones would agree to have it at the church. They were just scared. Simple as that.
Vincent's father quietly began recruiting people in the community to come to voter registration meetings where they could learn how to vote.
Yeah, you kind of had a poll tax that you had to pay, which was a system they devised to try to keep you from voting.
Secrecy was of the utmost importance, but it was almost impossible to achieve.
Now, how it got out, it was a Judas in the bunch, I reckon, like when Jesus Christ.
White people knew they needed to get rid of this communication hub, so they tried to bomb the church.
Or they blew a hole in that wall from here to that wall.
After that, participation in the meetings dropped.
Yeah, they were just simply scared. You know, this is something altogether new to black people. And then all the threats come out, and that scared people.
Vincent's dad moved them to this Mason's Lodge, and that's where everything would continue until October 1963, election year.
We used to have like 100 people at a meeting. But when we got ready to go vote on October 17, we have a 41.
The deed was done, not to the extent they'd hoped, but it was still done. Their faith had carried them through.
For more on this series of reports and a recording of a panel discussion covering this topic and many others, go to lpb.org/theblackchurch, where you'll find a variety of resources, and tune in for the premiere of PBS The Black Church. This is our story, this is our song, with Henry Louis Gates Jr. This two-part series airs next Tuesday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. right here on LPB.
We are sending a shout out to Baton Rouge Mayor Sharon Weston Broome. The U.S. Conference of Mayors featured her work to increase access to healthier food for parts of the city.
Broome has been singled out by the mayors for the public-private partnership with Dollar General stores she worked to make happen.
Yeah, 2 of their stores will begin selling fruits and vegetables in an area of Baton Rouge without a nearby grocery store. Great work there. And everyone, that is our show for this week. Remember, you can watch anything LPB anytime, wherever you are, with our LPB app.
You can catch LPB news and public affairs shows as well as other Louisiana programs you've come to enjoy over the years. And please like us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
For everyone here at Louisiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Andre Moreau.
And I'm Kara St. Cyr.
Until next time, that's the state we're in.
Entergy is proud to support programming on LPB and greener practices that preserve Louisiana.
The goal of our environmental and sustainability initiatives really is to ensure that our kids and future generations can be left with a cleaner planet.
Additional support provided by the Fred B. and Ruth B. Ziegler Foundation and the Ziegler Art Museum located in Jennings City Hall. The museum focuses on emerging Louisiana artists and is an historical and cultural center for Southwest Louisiana. And the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting, with support from viewers like you.
Funding for the Stories of Louisiana's Black Church is provided by.
When morning came to Louisiana, we were hopeful, not hibernating. We were stronger, ready for what's next. And together, as we build anew, Blue Cross stands ready to support you.
Hi, I'm Patrick, employee at ExxonMobil and pastor of Believers Assembly of Baton Rouge. I'm so glad ExxonMobil is sponsoring the Louisiana Black Church on LPB, and I hope you enjoy watching it.
And by CSRS, building stronger, smarter communities together.